All right, should be recording now. So, hello. I'm back home in New Jersey now. Just got back yesterday, and it's interesting. This video, I want to talk to you about why you should leave your hometown. And I'm just going to say you got to go. And here's why. You have to leave. You don't have to leave forever. I mean, you can go for a few months. I would say at least a year. Going to another state, or even better, another country. When you make this change, one, this shows an extreme sense of agency on your part. And this is something different than 95% of the people in your hometown. Because most people, they grow up, they go to the elementary school, the middle school, the high school in their town. Maybe they go away for college and they come back and they stay there for the rest of their lives. They marry the high school sweetheart, they get a job that's stable, consistent, and they stay. And there's nothing wrong with that if that's what you want. And what I'd ask you is to ask yourself, is this what I want? Because I have found it so easy to get comfortable in this environment. You know, I'm grateful I have the ability to just stay here, not really pay any rent or bills, not pay for food even. But it wasn't until I was 26 that I said, you know, I have to do something. Otherwise, everything, my life will just be what it is for the rest of my life. Like, nothing's gonna shake me out of this. I knew that I was different, that I didn't want the cookie cutter lifestyle. And again, if that's you, if you like that, go for it. Do you? I wish you the best. For me, that's not me. And I have a feeling a lot of you watching, it's not for you either. I've always been one to take a non-traditional path to things. And so you need to reject the mainstream narrative in regards to pretty much everything and really see things for what they are. And media does a really good job at programming you to think a certain way, to see that person as the one, to see that every summer I should take a vacation once or twice a year. The whole travel industry has really monopolized that and programmed you to think that. And when you do think of a non-traditional path, you might think of the digital nomad. I have to go to Bali. I have to go to Thailand or Mexico or whatever. That's what an entrepreneur does. But you need to realize that there are no rules to any of this. All the rules that you've been conditioned to believe are rules set up by people no smarter than you. In fact, you might be smarter than them, but what they've done is they've been able to get a hold of media in these places of massive reach and to make you think something, right? Even schools, think about the school system. You don't get to pick what you want to learn. You're told what to learn and how to learn it. So that's not really where I thought this video was going to go, but it's important to touch upon because when I left, I had no plan. I had very little money. I had no job, and that was incredibly scary. But I was talking to my dad about it a couple weeks ago, and it was like burning the boats, which I feel like you need to do a couple times in your life, is burn the boats, go all in, and see what happens, see what you're made of. Because so often in modern society, well, actually, it's pretty much a standard that we don't have rites of initiation, rites of passage. Traditionally, throughout history, boys had that moment where they were forced into the woods. They were forced to go off and make something of themselves. And that acted as the bridge from boy to man. That is important. And that's something missing from society today. We don't have that initiation from boy to man. So what you have is you have a lot of adults who are physically older, but mentally the same. And it's incredibly important for men, boys, men, all of them, to have these traditions, these rituals, and to follow them through, see them through with the elders of the tribe, of the community. And that's one thing my boss actually told me the other day. He brought to my attention. He's like, I told him I was feeling a little down, a little depressed. He's like, I think you're feeling that way because you don't have a community. And I thought about it, and I was like, this guy's dead on. Community is incredibly important. And that's one thing I'm doing with these videos, is creating a community. And now that I'm back here in my hometown, I'm reconnecting with my community here, and taking the lessons to forge my own way forward. Really thinking in 2024, who do I want to be? What is the vision of the person that I want to be? And not just daydreaming or fantasizing or visualizing. That only takes you so far, but create an action plan. This is who I have to be. This is who I want to be. This is who I'm becoming. And this is what needs to happen in order to make that happen. Setting consequences, being held accountable, having people in your corner to back you up and support you along the way, which is tough, especially if you're going somewhere where you don't know anyone. It's hard. But life isn't always easy. You don't have to make everything hard, but realize that not everything's going to be easy either. There is a beauty in struggle, righteous struggle. Where if you want to get stronger, you're going to have to struggle to get stronger, to lift those weights, to go for that run. You're going to have to do the hard things that people don't really want to do. That's why a majority of society is overweight, is complacent, is bored with their experience of life. And so whenever you hear someone saying you should do this, you should be a little weary. Pause and think about it. What do I want to do for me? And there's a movie called Cinema Paradiso from the 80s. Fantastic film. I highly recommend it. And it's like this boy who grows up in this town in Italy who falls in love with movies. And he becomes really close with the projectionist at the local theater. And he grows older. He becomes a teenager, then an adult. And he starts to find some success and wants to be a filmmaker. And the older man says, go, leave this town, and never come back. Never come back. And this is a spoiler alert, but he ends up coming back once the old man, his good friend, has died. And now it's been decades. The man has died. He comes back to go to attend the funeral. And he's a successful, famous filmmaker. And the reason why he says that, don't come back, is because when you come back, the last time he came to visit, it felt weird. It felt like re-entering a chapter of a book no longer meant for me. And I told one of my uncles this, and he's like, okay, all right. Most people say that to me. All right, you're a little too deep. But it was true. In this instance, it just feels like I'm visiting. It's like, okay, I'm here for 2 weeks, I'm visiting. But it's very easy to come back to where you're from and fall into familiar patterns. Oh, I used to eat this way. I used to talk this way. Your environment often reinforces what you believe about yourself, especially when you go back to your hometown. That's why it's so important to get away, because you don't know anybody. You are free to create your own reality the way you see fit, the way that you desire. And no one they're only going to reinforce and mirror back to you what you are or what you're manifesting into reality. So you got to move away, at least for a little bit. And if you've done this before, let me know in the comments. I moved from New Jersey to California, drove across the country. I talk about it in one of my videos, and I'm going to do some more storytelling in future videos. And that was huge for me. I know California is not my final destination. It's just a leg on the journey. I'm meant to go there or be there, learn some lessons, and then move on to something else. So, work in progress, but hopefully this has been of some help. Please like this video if you feel called to it, and I would love it if you could subscribe to this channel. I'm going to be doing a lot of fun stuff, and I mentioned the vision of myself, the action plan. I'm going to integrate that and talk about that more in future videos. But do me a favor, subscribe to my newsletter. I want to put in the bio, the description of this video, because that's where I'm going to have you hold me accountable. I like to talk. but having the accountability and the consequences for not following through on what I envisioned for myself does everyone a disservice. So I'm going to integrate that into my newsletter. Every week, I'm going to update you on my progress with my goals, as well as quotes, videos, pieces of media that I found that have been helpful for me. So do me a favor, no, do yourself a favor, subscribe to that because there's going to be a lot of good stuff there. And I want to put my money where my mouth is. Check that out. And again, subscribe if you feel called to it. I love your support. I'm really enjoying making these videos. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.